So we're going to draw a texture monster. One of the goals is that the texture monster fills the entire page. So we're going to first build a monster from different parts. And we're going to be looking at these different sort of ideas of how to draw eyes or noses or mouths, but we of course can make our own if we want to as well. The first step of making this drawing is to use pencil for the drawing of the monster, just in case we make any mistakes. And when I put the eyes in, since I want the eyes to be up in the head, and the head's going to be near the top of the paper, I'm going to start the eyes pretty large and near the top of the paper because I want my monster to take up the entire space of the paper. The next part of the monster's body I'm going to draw is the nose. And so I choose one from the noses down below. Of course, again, you can always create your own nose. The next part of the monster's face is we need a mouth. And I decided to go with one of the Where the Wild Things Are monsters' mouths and draw that one in. I'm going to speed up the rest of this drawing so that you can see the different steps and stages of making a texture monster. The next part is the head and body, and I just decided to use that sort of zigzaggy shape, but make a lot of zigzags and make it more of a circle around the monster's head. And then I chose one of those egg shapes just to be the body and added texture to the outside line. I continue then to add arms. I chose octopus arms in this case, and legs and feet. And I went back to the Where the Wild Things Are book to choose that. And then horns and some additional elements until I was completely done with the pencil part of the drawing. Now it's time to go to step 2, which is to outline all of the pencil of your monster with marker and or crayon and or colored pencil. So some sort of color going over the pencil. You could even use oil pastels. While you're outlining, you want to make sure you cover every single thing you drew in pencil. It's really important. Sometimes people forget something in the face or something like that. So before you move to step 3, take a good look. Did you outline everything? Now you are ready for step 3. You need to get out the texture shapes that we created, and you're going to be looking at them as inspiration for texture you can add into your monster. You need to add at least 5 different textures into your monster. This could be adding one texture per area of your monster, or you might add a couple of different textures in different areas. This is up to you. Make sure when you're adding the texture that you're putting it close together. Texture, when you're drawing it, sometimes looks like a pattern, but put together starts to become a texture. Now you're ready for step 4. Step 4 is to color in your monster. So depending on what materials you used, you might need to color inside of your textures, or you can color right over them. And you're going to color the entire monster in, unless of course you want some of the white of the paper as the color in your texture monster. When you feel like you're done coloring, give it a once over. Make sure you colored everything that you wanted to do so that you're ready for the next step, which is step 5, which is to add a background. Before you do that, I'd like you to name your monster. So think about what kind of name would your monster have, and you might want to write it on your paper so you remember its name. Now it's time to think, where is your monster? Is your monster on Earth? Is your monster in outer space? Is your monster in the forests of Where the Wild Things Are? So it's time to make a background for your monster. Once you're finished with your background, take a look at it. Is there anything else you can do for your texture monster? If not, you're done. Here's my boba.